Good morning, guys. So welcome back. Back to the performance testing training demo sessions. And we are closing. We are going to close these demo sessions by tomorrow. Guys. Today is Thursday, right? So today and tomorrow's session also would be free demo sessions. So from Monday onwards, those who confirm their joining only can join this live training. Okay. So having said that, so I'm waiting for a couple of, I'm expecting few more people because almost 10 people confirmed they're joining already. So let's wait for a couple of more minutes. Let's wait for 2 minutes. So meanwhile, do not waste the time to utilize this time, right? So let me cover some aptitude questions, guys. Okay. So first of all, why aptitude questions, right? So some organizations, not all organizations, but some organizations, around 25% to 30% of the organizations conduct aptitude test. So before this, for screening the candidates. Okay. So as a preliminary test or for a screening round, in the screening round, they will conduct an aptitude test, right? So they will cover some simple aptitude questions like this. If you get 15 out of 25 marks in an exam, out of 25 marks in an exam, right? So what is your percentage? Right? Some simple percentage questions like this. So aptitude questions can be multiple things. They can ask multiple things. So it can be percentage questions, or it can be time and distance. It can be profit loss per questions, right? So and it will be quantitative and verbal reasoning and non-verbal reasoning, right? You remember that you might have heard these terms, right? So aptitude, they may ask you both verbal and non-verbal reasoning. But there will be simple questions only like this. If you get 15 out of 25 marks, okay. And let me give the concepts also. Simple percentage questions. And profit and loss questions. I will give the concepts, okay, which are important for this aptitude test. Profit and loss, time and distance, etc., etc. Ratios, right, etc., etc. And they will ask, number series, right? They will give some numbers and ask you what is the next number that follows, right? You might be already having an idea. You should be already having an idea, right? Number series or letter series, number or letter series, etc., etc. Right? Now, what is the answer for this? So please ping me in the Zoom chat, guys. I know this is a simple question, but please ping me on Zoom chat directly to me. Okay, not to everyone. So let's others also answer. So we have 13 people now, excluding me. I know. So please share your answer. Okay, this is question number 1. Let me give some numbers to the questions so that we can cover a few more questions later on. You get right. So something like this. If you get 22 out of 25 marks in an exam, what is your percentage, right? 15 out of 25 marks in an exam, what is your percentage? Next question. So I'm seeing some responses, right? So others, I saw only 5 people responded to the chat. Please, ping me directly. Okay, don't share it to everyone. Let them, let others also. And please mention the question number also, please. Please mention the question number also. So if you get 30 out of 40 marks in an exam, 30 out of 40 marks in an exam, right? What is your percentage? That is the third question. Let me show you some JD also. where they are asking to attend aptitude. One of the emails, one of the email that I am having. Of course, this is for automation testing. So you can see here, written test. There will be a written test with English aptitude, communication, and testing skills. Right? There is an interview process. I'll show you some more mails also. Logic is one. Global Logic is one company. Signit is another company where you will have this aptitude test case. You can see here, Global Logic. For Global Logic, it's mandatory. Okay, aptitude test is mandatory. Let me show you that somewhere you should be having their interview process. So this is not only for freshers, guys. Don't think that aptitude test is only for freshers. So they will conduct aptitude test even 10 years, 15 years experience guys also. I have attended this Global Logic interview 3-4 years back, and I faced this aptitude test when I was having like 12 plus years of experience or 13 years experience. When is that? 2021, right? 2 years back, approximately 2 years back. Clear, guys? So 14 years or something. So it's not, don't think that aptitude test is only for freshers, will be conducted only for freshers. No, that's not the case, right? And Global Logic is one company, and High Radius is another company which conducts aptitude test. High Radius also will have. So see, some companies may be asking, maybe conducting online test for you, exclusive aptitude test. Some organizations like Frugal Testing, let's say Frugal Testing, there is a testing company called Frugal Testing, right? They ask such aptitude questions in the interview. In the technical interview, they will ask some, they will be asking some aptitude questions like this. Okay, so these are simple questions anyways, right? So these are simple questions. You don't require a pen and paper or a calculator. Okay, I think almost everyone joined. So I'll look into those answers later on into the Zoom chat, right? I'll look into it. Okay. But be prepared for this, right? Next up. So let's move on to the demo session now. Let me open your batch tracker. This is Feb 2023 batch tracker. Okay, this is the morning session which was done just now at 9:30. Hold on, let me open your batch tracker. So I am running on JMeter, batch in the morning, guys. It's about to be completed, by the way. So 60 hours of training is completed already for JMeter. It will be completed by this weekend or next week. It will be closed. Just for your information. So, and I'm going to start one JMeter batch, immediately after this batch is complete. That's why I'm mentioning it here. I want to mention here. So this 8 to 9:30 slot will be free for me from next week onwards with this batch. Okay. So, and also I need, please share your preferred tool and timings also in the Zoom chat. So type the tool name, either LoadRunner or JMeter, and your preferred timings, 8 to 9:15 or 9:30 to 10:45. Okay, I have two slots available. So 8 to 9:15 is one possible slot. So that 15 minutes is a buffer time. And then 9:30 to 10:45. Okay, or 9:30 to 10:30. That would be the actual session timings. 15 minutes will be buffer time. Clear, guys? So please share your preferred timings also. Those who did not confirm your joining already. Or those who confirm your joining also, please share your convenient time. You have log here today. Okay. So this slot will be free for me from next week onwards once I complete this. So it's almost done. 60 hours of training is completed. And we planned some extra hours on this Saturday. Usually I don't take on Saturday, but to close this batch, right? So, basically I felt sick in between for a couple of days. That's why, to close this batch, we planned some extra sessions last Saturday and this Saturday also. Anyways, so this batch will be completed by this week or early next week, and then I will have this slot available. So please, from your side, please share your preferred tool and timings also. All right. So this is your, there is a batch tracker April 2023 batch, morning batch. So yesterday we completed the computer fundamentals and I have started a software development life cycle and we are done with that, right? Now today, as we discussed, as per the plan, I will cover testing life cycle. We'll start with testing life cycle. Before that, let me give a quick recap. So this is a typical software development life cycle. These are the different phases in any software project development, right? So it will start with requirement analysis and then application will be designed. We have some new participants, right, today. So Raju is one new participant. For them, I am giving a quick recap. Okay. So Raju and who all are the new participants? Can you please let me know? Srivalli, are you joining today only or you joined before? Is this your first session or before you joined, Srivalli? And I am seeing one more participant, Vamsi. Guys, please speak out. Okay. So are you with us, Srivalli and Vamsi?
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, Raju is one new participant. Srivalli, are you able to, Vamsi? Any other new joinees? Okay, these are the new joinees. Anyways, I got the names. And any other new joinees? Okay, I don't see any other new joinees. Okay, fine. So now let us discuss this testing life cycles, right? So in this typical software development life cycle, so we are interested in this testing phase, software testing phase, right? So, but it actually consists of different phases, starting with requirement analysis. So once the requirements are gathered and analyzed from the client, your development architect will design the application. When we say design the application, so they will decide on which front-end language they should use and which language should be used for backend, and what is the database, which database we have to use, right? And how the application design should be, right? And all these will be decided in the designing phase. Now, once the application designing is done, developers will start writing the code, and that is implementation phase, right? Your developer starts writing the code or implement that design, right? That is called as implementation phase. That's why it is called as implementation phase. Now, once the coding is completed, or else, of course, in waterfall model. So in waterfall model, like previously, like testing used to start after development is completed in waterfall model, but that is not suitable for medium to complex projects. It's suitable, waterfall model is suitable only for very small projects, very small applications, right? However, nowadays, most of the projects, 99% of the projects are following agile methodology, wherein I think I explained yesterday, I have introduced agile methodology, wherein testing will be started as soon as the development is started in agile methodology, right? Did we discuss this guys yesterday or no?
Yes, we have discussed.
Right, I gave an introduction to waterfall and agile, isn't it?
Yeah.
So in agile methodology, so testing will be started as soon as development will be started. Development is started. As soon as developers start writing the code, testing will be started. So that is one important characteristic of agile methodology. Not only that one, it has few other characteristics or few other advantages, but this is one of the important characteristic of agile methodology. As soon as project development is started, right? Whereas in waterfall model, each phase will start after the previous phase is completed in waterfall model.
I had one doubt, sir. For spiral model also, we can say like that only, right? For spiral model also, it is repetition model, right?
Yes, you are correct. Each phase will be started after previous phase is completed. Okay. Now, coming back to this diagram. Yeah. So the reason why I wanted to explain Agile is like, this diagram depicts that this image depicts that testing will be started after implementation is completed, but that is not the case now in current modern applications for modern applications. Okay. So we are interested in this testing phase. Now let us go to testing life cycle. Let's understand the testing life cycle, right? We are not interested in designing phase or requirement analysis or evaluation or implementation here. Rather than that, so we are interested in this testing phase. Now let's understand what are the different phases in the testing, right? So here you go. So first, as soon as developers write some code, right, they will do something called unit testing. As soon as developers write some code, they do something called unit testing. And unit testing is also popularly called as white box testing, right? We'll discuss why it is called as white box testing. We'll discuss that. Okay. Unit testing is white box testing done during the development of an application by the developers, or during the development means coding phase of an application by the developers, right? And what is the meaning of unit? What is the general meaning of unit?
Single.
Right. So general meaning of unit is a small unit, a small piece of something is called as a unit, isn't it? So as soon as developers write some, let's say that Java application. As soon as developer writes a single Java application, first he will touch that single piece of class, or in we call each unit as a class, right? A Java application will be having thousands of classes, hundreds and thousands of classes. So as soon as Java developer writes one Java class, he will touch that Java class in isolation to verify whether it is working as expected or not, right? So a unit may be an individual function, method, procedure, module, or object. A unit may be an individual function. What is meant by a function, guys, by the way? What is meant by a function in software, right? Function or in any programming language.
Which does a specific task.
Right. So a function is simply a chunk of code or a small piece of code that is meant for a specific task, right? Here you can see, so that you can use over and over again rather than writing it multiple times. And what is the benefit of functions? Functions enable programmers to break down or decompose a problem into each of which performs a specific task. So a function is a small piece of code, a small part of code which performs a specific task, and it can be used again and again. Can we define like that? Can we define a function in any programming language? A function is a chunk of code or piece of code, chunk or piece of code, which does a particular task and can be used over and over. It can be used again and again, right? And can be used again and again wherever it is required. Right? Now, so suppose developers develops a function. Let's say, for example, developer wrote a function to add two numbers, let's say, sum of two numbers, right? And this is the function name, and a function will start with this space, right? This bracket, and then to add two numbers, we have to pass those two numbers. Let's say int a, int b, right? Now this is the function name. These are called as arguments or parameters. This is the name of the function, and these are called as arguments to that function or parameters to that function. Clear, guys? So as soon as developers write some piece of code, first they will test whether it is working correctly or not. So a unit can be an individual function, a method, right? Method also has the same meaning as a function. So both these terms are used interchangeably. Some procedure, module is nothing but a combination of some classes, Java classes. If it is a Java application, module means which performs some, let's say, for example, you have okay, let us take this example, well-known examples like Amazon. Let us say this, in this e-commerce application, mobiles is one module. That means all the different models available, mobile models available will be under this. Our coupons is one module, right? Our gift ideas is one module. Home improvement is one module, like that. So these are different modules in this application. Here guys, or if you take IRCTC example, so you can book a ticket in one module, and we can see the book tickets in another module and so on. Clear guys? So that is called as a module. Now, or an object. Object means, for every class we create an object, right? And if you are bit familiar with Java basics, you might have known this term, Java basic, or any other programming language. We use something called object, right? So for if you don't know, nothing to worry, okay, but you should know what is meant by a function and how does a function look like. Clear guys? That's why I mentioned here. So here sum is the function, and these are called as arguments or parameters. You should be familiar with this terminology going forward. Okay, going forward, once we start the tool, this will be useful. Okay, these functions concept and parameters concept will be useful, right? Now, as soon as developer writes some code, right, so they will first test that particular piece of code. So that is called as unit testing, or popularly called as white box testing. So why it is called as white box testing is, they know each and every internal of the application, what programming language they are using, what is the code inside it, right? Developers will be well aware of that internals of the application, what is the underlying architecture, etc., etc. That's why that is called as white box testing. And the testing done by test engineers is called as black box testing. We'll discuss that once we go to black box testing. We'll discuss that, and we'll discuss again. We'll revisit this white box versus black box testing. Okay. Now, let us say the next type of testing is integration testing. Before going into integration testing, let me take some example. Let me take some. Let me open a private browser. I hope you know what is the difference between a normal browser and a private browser, right? If not, we'll discuss that later on. So once we complete this testing life cycle, I'll explain what is the difference between normal browser and a private browser. Right now, I am using a private browser of Chrome, right? In Chrome terminology, we call that as incognito browser. Incognito, right? We'll discuss what is the difference between a normal browser and a private browser later on. So let us say a team of developers are working on this Gmail application. I will log into my application. Just give me. Okay. Please wait. Already logged in. Yeah. So let us say a team of developers are working on this Gmail application, developing this Gmail application. Now, so Gmail application has multiple applications over here, right? Like you have YouTube, right? YouTube is also from Gmail, right? Google, right? So Gmail is one part of Google applications, isn't it? So you have Google Business, you have Google Search, you have Google Maps, you have Gmail, you have Google Meet, Google Drive, and so on, Google Contacts, right? And all these are different applications. Now a team of developers are working on this Google Maps application. A team of developers are working on this YouTube application. Another team of developers are working on this Google Drive, right? Now, at the end of the day, like all these should be integrated into Gmail, isn't it? So, and suppose if you click here and if you select YouTube, right? So YouTube should be launched here with your account, isn't it? Observe here, I have logged into my Gmail with this account, perftest.kb@gmail.com. Now, if you launch YouTube from here, you will be able to log into YouTube with this account, isn't it? You can see that I am using some logo there, some pictures there for my Google account. Clear, guys? So different pieces of code should be combined together ultimately, right? What is the next type of testing is called as integration testing. Once these different modules or different applications are integrated together, right? Again, we have to test them, and that testing is done in an environment called SIT, where SIT stands for System Integration Testing. Let me go to slideshow mode. So once these different modules or once these different pieces of code are combined together, right? We should test them again, right? we can test them as a group, right? And that is called as integration testing. So integration testing is defined as a type of testing where software modules are integrated logically and tested as a group. Software modules are integrated logically and tested as a group. And that is done in an environment called SIT environment, or where SIT stands for system integration testing. System means application here, right? So system means application. So this is called as system integration testing. Understood, guys? The testing which is done after combining or integration. What is the meaning of integration, guys? By the way, what is the meaning of integration? Integration is by combination. Yeah. The integration general meaning is combination. So once different modules are combined together, right? Integration is act or process of integrating or combining them. Okay, so here you can see combination. Clear, guys? So integration testing is a type of testing which should be done after different software modules are integrated logically and tested as a group.
So you mean to say the modules are interdependent, right?
Modules are interdependent, yes.
Okay.
Now, a typical software project consists of multiple software modules coded by different programmers or teams. And what is the purpose of doing this integration testing? The purpose is to expose the defects in the interaction between these software modules when they are integrated. So let us say, if you go to this, if you go here and if you click on any particular application, so that application should be launched with our account, right? This is the expected behavior. Or else suppose if you click on this compose button, you should get a new mail opened with these details, right? If you already set some signature, it will show that signature and it will show all these options, right? With CC and BCC options, isn't it? So, and this compose button may be developed in a different Java class. If it is a Java application, this may be a different Java class, and primary may be a different Java class. Promotions may be a different Java class or a module. Social may be a different Java class or a module, right? And these labels, all these labels will maybe different modules are developed by different developers. Now, once all these pieces of code are combined together, so if they are working properly or not, if they are working in cohesion or not, right? So to test that, we do something called integration testing. Okay, once they are integrated or combined together, whether if are there any defects in the interaction between those software modules? To test that, we do something called integration testing. And remember, this is done in an environment called SIT environment, where SIT stands for system integration testing. Now, the next type of testing is functional testing. So functional testing is something which is done by QA team in the QA environment. And this is so where QA stands for quality analysis or quality assurance. Functional testing is something which is done in functional testing will be done in QA environment, where QA stands for quality assurance or quality analysis, right? And there will be a dedicated team for this again, right? So in some projects, integration testing also will be done by this testing team only. Mostly in most of the projects, this functional testing team also will be doing this integration testing. In some projects, developers does that, right? So that is not important, but let us understand what is functional testing and what is non-functional testing. The next thing that we want to discuss is non-functional testing. So for that, first let us understand what is functional testing first. So functional
Sir, here I have a question.
Yes.
In the second point, we have integration testing. So the system testing and the integration testing, are these two different testing techniques, or
System
both are
testing,
this?
I think both system testing is, I think, different. I think it is different.
It's different. Okay.
So it comes under white box testing, right? Integration testing is a white box testing.
Comes under white box testing. If developers are doing that, it will be called as white box testing. But if testing team is doing that, we can't call it as a white box testing. We should call it as a black box testing. So once we discuss black box testing, then we will understand. Then you can differentiate, or then you can understand whether it is white box or black box.
Fine.
Okay. So functional testing is a black box testing where the system is tested against the functional requirements or specifications. Right? Now let's understand this statement. What is meant by functional testing? Or let us understand what is meant by functional testing. So for that, I will open Gmail in a private browser so that let's say developers are let's say we are testing this Gmail application, and you type gmail.com and you get this page initially, right? And let's say you enter your Gmail here, right? Either like this or you can append at gmail.com also. It will work, right, in both the ways. Even though if I don't append at gmail.com, will it work? See, this is my Gmail ID, full Gmail ID. But if I skip this at gmail.com, right, will it work if I click next?
Yeah,
Will it
if it
work?
is valid,
Yeah,
then
it
will work.
works.
Yeah, if it is a valid email ID, it will work. If you click on next, right, you can see that it is showing my complete full Gmail ID, right? If it is a valid Gmail ID, it should prompt for the application. Gmail should prompt for the password. If it is not a valid email address, let's say, right? If it is not a valid email address, I am entering some junk characters like this. Now what should happen is, if you click on next button, what should happen now?
It
It
should
will
prompt
throw an
as
error.
Incorrect email address.
Yeah, so it will throw an error message in red color saying that could not find your Google account, right? This is expected behavior, or these are the specifications of this page, isn't it? Or this is the expected functionality of the application, of Gmail application. Clear, guys? So testing the functionality of testing this functionality of any application, that is called as functional testing. As simple as that. The system is tested against the functional requirements or specifications, that is called as functional testing, right? And functions or features are tested by feeding them input and examining the output. Here, what is the input here? So your Gmail ID or mobile number, you can enter phone number also, right? So your Gmail ID or phone number will be the input, and we will examine the output. What is the output of that, that previous screen, right? So if it is a valid Gmail address, it should prompt for password. If it is an invalid Gmail address, it should display some error message. So this is the functional requirement of this application, isn't it? So testing that functionality is called as functional testing. And if you are doing that functional testing manually, it is called as manual testing. And if you are using some tool, that is called as automation testing, isn't it? So functional testing, again, functional testing can be classified into two types, right? So if you are doing manually if you are testing that functionality manually, right? We call that as manual testing without any tools, for testing, right? Test functional testing, software functional testing without any tools is called as manual testing. If you are using any tools like automation tools like Selenium, UFT, etc., that is called as automation testing. Clear, guys? Functional testing using any tools, any functional automation tools like Selenium, UFT, etc., right? This is called as automation testing. Clear, guys? And what is functional testing? First of all, functional testing is testing the application against its functional requirements or specifications. Testing the application against its functional requirements or specifications, isn't it? Specs. That is called as functional testing, and it is done by a team called QA team, right? And that environment is called as QA environment, where QA stands for quality analysis or quality assurance. So functional testing is tested by feeding them input and examining the output. I have already explained this. So in Gmail example, your Gmail ID or phone number will be the input, and output will be either, if it is a valid Gmail address, it will show you, it will prompt for password. Otherwise, it will show an error message. That is the output. Now, functional testing ensures that the software requirements are properly satisfied by the application, right? And it is also called as black box testing. Now, let's understand why this is called as black box testing. So functional testing team member, any team member need not know the code or the programming language in which it is developed. They need not be good in coding, or they need not be knowing the coding, or they need not be knowing that particular programming language and architecture. Architecture they should be knowing, but they should not know the in-depth internals of the application. So literally, it is a black box for them. Black box means we don't know what is inside that box. That is called as black box, right? So functional testing team members need not know the internals of the application or the coding of the application. That's why that is called as that's why that is called as black box testing. Clear case, right? And now the next type of testing is, guys, am I audible, guys?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yes.
The next type of testing is performance testing, right? Our so I mean the course that you have opted for, or that I am going to provide is on performance testing. So performance testing is non-functional testing. So we don't test the functionality of the application. We are not bothered about the functionality of the application because there is a dedicated team for that. Now, performance testing is non-functional testing to determine the application speed, responsiveness, stability of a computer, network, software program, or a device under load. So basically, performance testing is non-functional testing to determine an application speed, stability, scalability, and reliability. Speed means how fast it is responding, or what is the response time of each page of that application, and how stable the application is under expected and unexpected user loads. How scalable is the application? Means how many users can it scale up or support, and how reliable is the application once it goes into production. So that is performance testing. If I want to define it in a single line, performance testing is non-functional testing to find out an application speed, stability, scalability, and reliability. Clear, guys? And apart from these types of by the way, performance testing is done in an environment called test environment or engineering environment. So what is this environment? Basically, what do you mean by environment? Environment is nothing but a single computer or a group of computers on which we do this testing, or on which we have that application hosted, right? So environment here means a single or multiple computers on which your application is hosted or application is running. That is called as environment. Okay, so performance testing is done in an environment called test environment or engineering environment. And performance testing environment will be a replica of production environment. Okay, we'll discuss that later on. That is one of the prerequisites for doing performance testing. We'll discuss that later. So apart from that, there are a couple of other types of testing also, like security testing, user acceptance testing, etc., right? But we should know about this unit testing, integration testing, functional testing, because the build will be, whenever developers write some new code, first they will be doing unit testing in the development environment, and then they will be moving that build to SIT environment and functional testing, and then performance testing environment. So that is why you should know this order, or you should be aware of these different environments and different teams. Okay. So security testing can be done in parallel with performance testing. So security testing is to identify any loopholes in the application, security loopholes or vulnerable points in the application, right? Is there any chance for hackers to gain access to the application, etc.? That will be tested in security testing, right? So any queries here, guys, before we move to the next slide? Next
Yes,
slide
sir.
summarized like what is the difference between functional and non-functional testing. Yes.
Yes. So what are the environments? I mean, normally the performance testing conducted in?
Okay, good question. So if we have ideally, we should have a dedicated environment for performance testing. Ideally, right? We should have a dedicated environment for performance testing. Okay. In case you don't have a dedicated environment, right? So in one of my previous project, we were doing performance testing in SIT environment only, right? In one of my previous projects. So, but QA environment will be very small environment. It will be running on single machine. On single machine, all the web application, web server, app server, DB servers will be running on a single machine. So sometimes we do, if we don't have a dedicated environment, we may be doing in SIT environment, right? Or like in production also we may be doing, but these are very rare cases. Ideally, ideally or preferably, we should have a dedicated environment for performance testing.
Okay.
Any other queries? If we don't have any queries, we'll move on to the next slide. Okay, now let us summarize like what is the difference between functional and non-functional testing. So functional testing is testing functionality of the application we already discussed, and it can be classified into two types, that is manual testing and automation testing. And these are the popular, Selenium is the most popular automation testing tool, right? And we have different, Selenium with Java. So we have different, what can we say that? We have different versions, or not exactly different versions. So when you say Selenium, or if you have to use Selenium, some organizations use Selenium with Java, some organizations use Selenium with C#, some organizations use Selenium with Python, right? The underlying programming language, there are different options for the underlying programming language. So if you choose automation testing as a career, so you don't know whether you have to work with, but mostly Selenium with Java is the most popular combination. And still you have Selenium with C#, Selenium with Python, etc. These are the career options, different career options. But when you say automation testing, Selenium is the most popular tool. And of course, you have a lot of non-coding tools also nowadays. Right? Most of the companies are using Selenium with Java. Now coming to non-functional testing. So non-functional testing again is a big umbrella under which all these fall into performance, security, usability testing, reliability testing. All these fall under this non-functional testing umbrella, right? So now what is non-functional testing? It is type of software testing to check the non-functional aspects like performance, security, usability, reliability, etc. And coming to, so we are interested in performance testing. So these are the popular performance testing tools: LoadRunner, JMeter, NeoLoader, in their order of priority. So LoadRunner is one popular tool. So it's almost like 22 or 23 years old tool. JMeter is also equally, it is also 22 or 23 years old tool. But JMeter has gained prominence, or gaining market share, gained a lot of market share in the last 3 to 4 years, particularly from COVID time. This pandemic time, most of the companies are opting for open source tools because of cost cutting. And that is where like JMeter has been gained some market share, significant market share. Okay. Previously, like LoadRunner used to have like 60 to 70% of the market share. But right now, after JMeter is gaining popularity, so LoadRunner market share has came down to 40 to 50%. JMeter is having around like 30 to 40% now. And all other tools are sharing the remaining market share. NeoLoad and WebLoad, SimPerformer. There are a lot of performance testing tools. There are around 30 to 40 performance testing tools in the market. I have listed out some popular or important performance testing tools. LoadRunner is a licensed one, first of all. It is a costly tool. However, it is the most robust tool and much matured and evolved tool. And it supports almost 30 plus protocols. What is meant by a protocol now? Right? Let us understand what is meant by a protocol. So protocol means the communication language between the server and the client, right? So if I want to simply define a protocol, so it is a communication language between the server and the client. Okay. Client means if it is a browser-based application, browser is called as a client. Browser or desktop application or a mobile app. So client can be anything. It can be a browser. If it is a browser-based application, your Chrome browser, Firefox browser, all these are called as clients. If it is a desktop application, the desktop client software is called as a client. If it is a mobile application, the mobile app is called as a client. So generally, the communication language between server and the client is called as a protocol. Okay. In software terminology, guys, this is protocol in software terminology. Where are we? Yeah. So LoadRunner supports multiple protocols. It supports from legacy mainframe applications to latest internet applications. It supports, we can do performance testing even for legacy applications like mainframe applications till the latest applications, right? So it is a most robust tool. It's so user-friendly tool also, right? Then comes Apache JMeter. This is a popular open source tool. There are many open source tools. There are many open source tools. Once you join JMeter or once I start JMeter, I'll explain this. What are the important performance testing tools in the market? Here you go. So JMeter is the most popular one. Later on, apart from JMeter, you have Locust, Grinder, Gatling, and many other tools, right? And Locust is a Python-based tool. It's a Python-based tool. JMeter is a Java-based tool. JMeter itself is developed using Java language. And these are, so Grinder is a Jython-based tool. That means Java implementation of Python programming language. That means Java plus Python. So Jython is nothing but Java plus Python. So it is a combination of Java plus Python. And Grinder is that based on Jython programming language. Okay. And Gatling is another tool. So these are the open source PT tools, performance testing tools. Okay. Here onwards, we will use this term called PT for performance testing. Right. Now coming back to this, these are the popular performance testing tools like AppLoader, JMeter, NeoLoad, WebLoad, SILPerformer, IBM RPT. RPT is a performance testing tool developed by IBM itself. Okay. And apart from that, we have a couple of open source tools like Gatling, Locust, Grinder, as I have shown you just now. And then Load Ninja, Load View, Load UI Pro. But most popular tools are LoadRunner and JMeter. So if you see any particular performance testing JD, let me show you some Naukri alerts now. So must and should they will expect or they will mention about LoadRunner and JMeter. If you see any JD, right? I'm opening some Naukri alerts, recent Naukri alert emails. So I just want to show you some job description for performance testing. So if you see any particular JD, okay, what is this job you are looking for is expired. Okay. Let me open some other mail. Which email is this? This is April 10th one. Urgent opening for performance testing. Yeah. So here you can see should have worked on JMeter and HP LoadRunner. Right? If you see any JD, must and should you will have LoadRunner or JMeter or both. Mostly you will see both of them, LoadRunner and JMeter. Because these are the most popular tools in the market, every company expects you to have some experience on both LoadRunner and JMeter. Let me show you a few more. Here you can see JMeter, Gatling, LoadRunner. They want JMeter, Gatling, and LoadRunner. But JMeter and LoadRunner will be common. In any JD, LoadRunner and JMeter will be common. You observe here, right? Performance testing engineer JMeter, right? Performance testing engineer. Currently, this company is having walk-ins, it seems, till this Friday. If anyone already completed one tool, you can attend that walk-in, and this is their address. They have walk-ins currently. They are conducting walk-ins currently. And again, if you see here, so I'm sure one of these tools are and both of these tools will be mentioned in the skill set, desired skill set. You can see here minimum 5+ years of experience using testing tools like JMeter or LoadRunner, using multiple protocols. Right? Just now we discussed about protocols, right? And any other performance testing tool, either LoadRunner or JMeter, and any other performance testing tool also is fine, right? So these are the popular performance testing tools. Both these are most popular, LoadRunner and JMeter. Now let me go back to that. And NeoLoad is another popular tool, and again it is also a licensed tool, right? So functional testing, what all comes under functional testing? Unit testing, integration testing, system testing, acceptance testing. These all fall under functional testing. Whereas non-functional testing is a big umbrella under which performance testing, security testing, usability, compatibility, all these fall under non-functional testing. So performance testing is not the one and only one non-functional testing. The security testing, usability, compatibility testing, all these fall under this non-functional testing umbrella. Okay. Now, what is performance testing? We are interested in performance testing. So let us understand what is performance testing. As I said just now, so performance testing is a non-functional testing to determine an application speed, stability, scalability, and reliability. When I say speed, speed means response time of the application. Let's say you are typing, okay, let me open a new browser. And let's say you are accessing this website, apple.com, right? Which is having some high resolution pics, right? It is taking some time to load the page, right? It took some 2 to 3 seconds to load the page, isn't it? Because it has some high resolution pics, images, right? And it is it is having multiple images. So it took some time to respond, right? It took some 2 to 3 seconds to load the page. That is called as response time of the page, or that is the speed of the page, speed of this page. Clear, guys? Now, what is meant by stability? How stable is the application when under expected and under expected and unexpected user loads? I gave the definition, or I defined those terminology over here. Stability means how stable the application is under expected and unexpected user loads. What is meant by unexpected user load? Suppose there is a sale going on in Amazon or Flipkart, right? We cannot say how many users will be logging in, isn't it? It's very difficult to predict how many users will be logging in. Yes or no? Whenever there is a sale going on, or whenever there is a flash sale,
Yes,
isn't
yes.
it? On e-commerce application, any e-commerce application like Flipkart or Amazon, isn't it? So, or if you take IRCTC application, so whenever Tatkal window opens, right, there will be a sudden surge in the user load. There will be more number of users, maximum number of users will be trying to book a ticket during Tatkal window, isn't it? So that is unexpected user load. We cannot really say, or we cannot determine what would be the user load at that time. Now, how stable the application is under expected and unexpected user loads is called as stability. Next, scalability. Scalability means, can the application handle unexpected user load, and how does it behave beyond its capacity? Let's say the application capacity is 1 lakh users. That means normally the maximum user load is 1 lakh, and application can withstand that 1 lakh user load. But what if like 1.5 lakh users or 2 lakh users are accessing the application, right? So application should not shut down. The performance may degrade slightly, means the response times may be higher, but it should not display page not found, or page can't be displayed, those kind of errors, isn't it? So scalability means, can the application handle unexpected user load without any performance degradation? What is the ability of the application to handle increasing user load without performance degradation, right? That is called as scalability. How scalable the application is, or how does it behave beyond its capacity, beyond its normal capacity? How does it behave? Whether it will display some error message, or just slows down. Response times మాత్రమే పెరుగుతాయా, or else will it completely throw error pages like page can't be displayed, or 404 not found, etc.? How does it behave beyond its capacity? Testing that is called scalability. Now, reliability means how reliable the application will be once it goes to production. How reliable the application will be once it goes to production, or will users have a positive experience on go live? Go live means nothing but once the application goes into production, will the users have positive experience or not, right? That is called as reliability. So I'll stop it here for today, and we'll continue tomorrow. But if you want to define what is, or if someone asks you what is performance testing, right, you can define it as performance testing, non-functional testing to determine an application speed, stability, scalability, reliability. Okay. So with this, I conclude the session for today, and I'm passing the recording. Okay. So tomorrow would be the last demo session. So from next week onwards, and tomorrow would be the last session for this week. From next Monday onwards, so only confirmed people will be continuing into the batch. Okay.
Thank
Already
you.
10 people confirmed. Already 10 people confirmed. And one more thing. So one of these performance testing fundamentals are completed. I am going to split this batch into 2 batches. One would be for load runner, the other one would be for JMeter. If I have enough strength, if I have at least 10 people in each batch. Otherwise, I will start, I'm planning to start either load runner or JMeter. That's why I asked you to please, share your preference, which tool you want and preferred timings, so that I can, go with the majority people decision, majority people convenient time and majority people's tool requirement. Okay. So if you want your preference to be counted, so you have to confirm you are joining, you should pay at least 5,000 in advance to make your choice to be counted. All right. So thanks for joining, guys, and for recording purpose, thanks for watching this demo. And contact me on my WhatsApp number if you want to enroll for the live training. Guys, this is for recording purpose, guys. I'm uploading these demo sessions to my YouTube channel, right? So this is for the recording purpose. So if you haven't subscribed, any one of you, please subscribe and turn on all notifications. That is important. You need not share it. If you like it, you will share it, of course. So, but subscribe and turn on all notifications. One more request is, please save my WhatsApp number. Then only you will get the broadcast messages. Okay. Once anyone raises an inquiry, we are sending some broadcast messages. Some people, very few people are not saving the contact and they are missing the updates on the new batches. And later on, after the batches started, they are coming back and saying, I did not get any information on the batch starting. Right. That's why please save the contact. We expect you to, save the contact. Okay. Generally, I will save all the inquiries contacts, including their qualification like this. Let me pause recording. So thanks for watching and have a nice day. Again, this was also in the record. This is one of the important terms and conditions for joining the training, guys. So every student should share the script for review like this. These are from March 2023 evening batch, right? And I will review, I'll download all the scripts like this, and I will verify all the scripts. You can see here. So I'll show you March 20. I have created one folder for March 2023 batch, and these are the students in that batch. And if you observe here, so I download all their scripts and I review those, I verify their scripts, each and every student script. Okay. Right here you can see I downloaded all the scripts and I verify the scripts, and I will check if I'll first check if the script is working or not. Then I'll check the scripting standards and naming conventions, transaction names, etc. Right. So we check on all those parameters, and I will be providing review comments in the tracker sheet. For every batch I have one tracker sheet like this. You observed that for April batch also, I have started a tracker sheet. Right. Now in the same tracker sheet, I will be updating the review comments like this. I will mention whether their script is working or not, whether transaction names and text checks are followed or not, right? If the script is failing, I will highlight like this in red. Clear? So you can see that, I have reviewed all the scripts. This is something which no other training institute or no other trainer does, right? So basically, they won't bother whether you are able to do scripting or not. But that is not the case with me. Even for online training, I'll make sure that all the students are working on the scripts. If someone don't share the script, I will exclude them from the batch. I will not allow from next session onwards. Okay, because scripting is the important thing in performance testing. So 50% of your work will be scripting, right? So unless until you get hands-on, unless until you practice and get hands-on, so you'll not be able to crack entry on your own, or you'll not be able to survive, right? I have placed around 300 plus students in the last 5 years, 300 plus students without any backdoor or without any proxy. And no one, almost like except couple of guys, like most of them are working independently without any external job support. I can say proudly for sure that none of my students, of course, there are some people who go through proxy and backdoor. Some of the students, like out of, I might have trained like 600, 400, 500 or 600 people. Some may be already working around like 3 to 400, or 2 to 300 were already working, right? But those who are in job search and those who joined the training, they were able to crack face-to-face interviews, and they are doing their job without any job support. And you can check my Google reviews by the way.
Scripting review Gmail is separated.
What is that? That Gmail. Yes, because
I have sent your main Gmail ID.
Okay, yeah. So there, I'll share, there is a separate Gmail ID for that because, this is getting full. I created one separate Gmail ID for scripting purpose. This already was full by 91%, right? So I have created one separate Gmail ID and I have mentioned it in the sessions. So please share it to that Gmail ID only. Okay, guys, I'll close it here for today. And one final thing. So please share my Google reviews given by few of my previous batch students. If you do Google search for performance testing real-time training, you will get my ad over there with this same logo, right? I'll keep the same logo for my WhatsApp number also. And hold on. So my ad. Please check the Google reviews once, okay? Which is having the 67 reviews, right? So please check the Google reviews given by few of my previous batch students.
Sure.
And yeah, this is our KPHP classroom, which which I gave classroom training last year. And Madhapur, and we ran one batch in Madhapur also. Oh, right. So somewhere, that classroom. Yeah, this is our Madhapur classroom. So I want spacious classrooms like this. I cannot take class in congested rooms like in Amirpet. So that's why it is getting delayed. So I don't like those congested classrooms like in Amirpet and all those. So I need spacious classrooms and a corporate like infrastructure. That's the reason it's getting delayed. That's it. Okay. All right. So I'll conclude the session for today and I am signing off. Closing the
Thank you, Kaustubh.
recording.
Thank you all.
And thanks for joining and have a nice day.